to go over Alessandro's question and give him some advice. So I'll be honest, though, I've slacked on Leetcode and programming quite a bit since I've been working. Motivation is a factor I'm struggling with. I don't know what to do. I feel like my mindset, but I'm struggling to put it into practice. So you can try to delete TikTok for it to help, try and help. So this is a problem that I had when I was kind of, I think it was like maybe I had to have been like 16 to 18. I was like struggling with like I would have like a lot of ideas, but then I wouldn't be able to actually do them. And programming was one of them where I was coding, I was building things, but I wasn't like doing it to the way that like I would have wanted. And so I kind of want to go over maybe a little thing here that could help. So what I want to do is talk about some kind of things with like productivity, I guess, that I've realized, and also kind of use this like document some notes that I took on from Ali Abdal, and these are also all things that I've kind of heard before from just other types of books. I think he's like summarizing them, but we'll go over these and see how they go. First thing is that like motivation is just like an emotional state, and that you should not be like looking for motivation. Like it's just going to be discipline. This is something that took me a while to learn, but like basically that like what would happen is I would get really motivated and want to do something, and I would be here, right, like super doing it and doing it, and then the motivation would fade, and then I would like go down to here. And this would be with studying, this would be with like doing coding and things like that. And like I was still like pretty good, like pretty solid, but like I wasn't doing like enough. Like I kind of showed this in like 2018, right? Like this is like me doing Leetcode like hardcore in 2018. Like this is me prepping hardcore for like a Google interview, and I'm not really solving problems. Like I think I had like books I was going through cracking the coding interview, but like even still, like it should have been this. Even in 2019, it should have been this. And like the fact that like me doing hardcore is this for like a week and a half, like that kind of just shows that like the discipline wasn't really there, honestly. And so it took me a while to realize, I think, that one is that like if I just listened to someone who was like good and I had some kind of coach, like that would have helped me. Sure. But the second thing, because this would have told me like, bro, you need to do this way more. Because if you look at this here, if we look at it now in 2021, this is when I went serious. This was serious. This was like, I need this thing to work. Like I'm tired. Everyone's saying do these problems. I'm gonna do these problems so I can make this thing work. And then, same for here, same for here, 2024. Again, like this is what discipline is. The other stuff wasn't. And so that was just like that was the motivation jump where I'm just like, oh well, I'm motivated today, and oh well, I'm not. Oh well, I have the Google interview. Let me go study. I've got the Google interview. Yes, yes, yes. I'm motivated. Oh wait, I failed. Okay, well now I'm not motivated anymore. And then you kind of just enter into this cycle of like, oh well, you're really motivated. Oh, okay, well then you're not. Oh, okay, well then you're not. And then like something happens, and like now you're just looping. And so the big thing here that I kind of want to get across is that like it's just an emotional state, and I would not look towards for motivation. I think again, when I was 16, I was watching like motivational videos, and like those would like be good because they would bring me up to here. But then eventually it just fades. It just fades. And so the idea of motivation doesn't really matter. Like even before this, like before talking and making this video, I did not want to do this video. Not really. Like I've already been working all day and I don't want to talk again. But that said, I know that there's like some greater, kind of like thing here. So I would work towards that. That would essentially be my main thing. And maybe it feels esoteric or not something that's really applicable, but like I do want to be clear, at least maybe you can be observant of that this is happening, that there is like some kind of cycle, because then you can break out of the cycle and go to more towards something that looks like this, right? Where you're consistently doing something. And that comes from knowing yourself, understanding yourself. So and this is why I mentioned like meditation, etc. Like if you make it fun, doing things like that can actually make it to where motivation doesn't really matter. Like you can play video games every day or play basketball, a ton of time. I don't know if you've played sports or something, but if you played soccer, whatever, you just love it because it's fun. So either you're doing something that you don't like where you need to do motivation, or it's not super fun for you, or meditation could help. Like actually, I think by all research, most research suggests that meditation is just like it will improve your life. It will less anxiety, less depression, just better life. If you just want a good life, like you would just meditate basically. So this is where, you can try to make it fun. You can give yourself a reward. If you work for 2 hours, get a reward. You can add in pain and consequences. So you can say like, hey, well, if I don't study, then I need to send my friend $10 or $50 or $100. Like it's painful. Yes, you don't want to do it. Yeah, you're like, oh no, why would I ever do that? That sounds so dumb. But like, if you know you're going to lose something, you're going to probably be more motivated, right, to do it. So you can kind of create it, but you can create it in your circumstances. Okay, cool. Multitasking. This one doesn't super relevant, but I do prefer simplicity when I'm working now. So I just want to focus on one thing and tackle that at a time and then move on to the next thing. So I don't want to I do not want to focus on fixing my resume and at the same time messaging recruiters, and then at the same time doing Leetcode problems, and at the same time building a coding project, and then at the same time working on my grades for school. Like I just want to focus on a very, very small thing set of tasks because then you can just focus. You can sit down and then walk in, as the kids say. So we got Parkinson's law. So if you give yourself small deadlines instead of a big deadline. So if you say, I'm going to get this done by next week versus I'm going to get this done in 3 months, magically, like you'll just kind of be lazy throughout most of that time. But if you say I need to get done next week, you'll start actually working towards it. Just set up a 10-year plan, figure out how you're going to do this in 6 months, and then actually work towards it. This is the thing I was mentioning where you can pay somebody losing money. 20%, 80-20 rule. There's things that matter. There's things that don't matter. Focus on things that matter. There's always a lot of stuff that you can focus on, but you want to focus on things that you can actually do well in. Newton's first law. If you just start, so if you're really unmotivated, you really don't want to do it. If you actually just start, it'll probably work. Like if you literally just go to the gym, or if you just put on your gym clothes when you don't want to go to the gym, you're magically gonna want to go to the gym because you're like, oh, I already have my clothes on, or you're like, oh, I'm already at the gym. Like if you just make your goal, let me drive to the gym. If you inside the gym, you're probably just gonna finish the workout. You're already there. There's psychological tricks that you can kind of do where if you just start for 2 minutes and then give up, like say, oh, I'll work on a Leetcode problem for 2 minutes. If I can't figure it out, that's it. We tried. That's it. I'm going to start doing a coding project for 2 minutes. That's it. If I can't do it, then we leave. This is a very powerful thing that I think I've seen Derek Sivers talk about too. Power of habit. If you have a social contract, if you have friends, if you have other people who are also working with you, this is why I made school. This is why I made the school group, is because if you're working with other people, you're most likely going to want to keep up with them. If all of your friends work at Google, you're probably going to be like, dang, I should work at Google too. Well, if none of your friends work at Google, well, you're not going to want to really work at Google as much. And so that's kind of another kind of factor that you can kind of control. You can change your identity too. So you can start to see yourself as a software engineer, as a programmer, as opposed to someone who's, oh, I'm a loser. I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't do this. Productive downtime. You can solve problems, watch videos while you're in the car instead of scrolling through Instagram. You can also get like productive procrastination. So if you don't feel like doing Leetcode, or you don't feel like studying coding or whatever, you can just watch YouTube videos, worst case. And like, it's like kind of productive, right? So this is what I would do. I would watch Leetcode streams instead of actually solving Leetcode, and I would end up solving the Leetcode problems with the person. So I'd just be like, chill, let me just watch some streams, because you can interact, you can talk to the person, and they're solving problems too. So that's it. That's kind of like the motivation thing that I would say. I like these things changed, kind of my thinking to where I was kind of got to here. And then also like in 2021 where I was working full-time job, and then also at the end also doing Leetcode for like 2 months. So hopefully this answers your question. And if you're curious, if I think I may post this on YouTube, if you're curious where this came from, it's from my school community. So like if you go to here, I answer questions that you send me, and if you want to join, it's like a price of like a cup of coffee. So that there's that, and I give like free stuff inside. So cool. I'll see you guys in the next video.